Hello, my name is Cheyenne Moore, and this is my persuasive speech for Communication 101. And I'll be talking to you today about minimum wage. Now, when minimum wage was first created, it was supposed to be a livable wage. But it, since then, our ability to do things has increased significantly. We have more resources to education. So we have a lot more chances to become, CEOs and to make a lot more money than people who are on minimum wage. It is now for, I shouldn't skip to that part, but um, but since we have grown and changed and evolved, minimum wage pretty much has it. Because if it was still supposed to be a livable wage, it would have gone up with inflation, which it hasn't. If it had gone up with every little bit of inflation, then we would have been minimum wage would be over $21 by now, and it's not. And I'm not saying $21 for state. I'm saying $21 for federal minimum wage, which some states still do follow. Um, yeah, there's a state minimum wage. There is a federal minimum wage. Now all states have their own minimum requirement, hence why we still have the federal minimum wage, or just in case the state decides that they don't want their own, they decide to go with federal, which that in itself is really hard to do because it's kind of a law here, a law in whichever states have them. States with their own set of minimum wage usually have a higher cost of living than the other states. Now, with me saying before that um, our resources and we are now able to do a lot more and make a lot more money and produce more income, um, minimum wage had or has become basically entry level position wage. Entry level positions are mainly for high school students as well as college students. And though, and at that point of time in our lives, we are really trying to figure out what we want to do. High school students don't need, they don't need a livable wage. Why do they need a livable wage? There's, they're still minors. They're still, you know, living with mom and dad, living with them and doing all this. They don't have the bills. They don't have the responsibilities as adults do. And college students, entry level, we could probably use a bit more, but then again, between school and the scholarships, the loans, and everything we have bills, but they're not as much as when we're out and we have to start paying student loans, and then we have our car that we have to pay for, we have our house that we have to pay for, we have our children if you don't already have children, we have all that needs to get paid for. Now, if sorry, where was I going? Oh yes. Okay, so with us still trying to figure out what we want to do and have a little bit of money in our pocket, college students are able to pay the little bit of bills that we have. Um, we have that little bit of money, and and we're learning how to control our own money. We're learning how to spend it wisely and not just buying whatever we want, but the things that we need. And in high school, that hasn't really been, that's not something that's big on your mind. Like, it's usually you're thinking about, crap, I have to go to college. Crap, I have to figure out what I want to do. It's not, oh, so how should I spend my money? Should I, go, attempt to buy TV, or should I just go shopping because, I just want some more clothes? You're not saving and not investing for the future. Now, if minimum wage went up now, inflation would increase because that means the dollar is, it will decrease in value. You need more money to purchase the same amount of things as you would before, and then the feds have to print more money. They have to keep more money in circulation because we need more. As long as with the dollar decreasing in value, the price levels will increase. It's demand and supply. It how should I say this? The you know the more money that's needed, the more money that's needed, the less value that the dollar is. But since the dollar doesn't buy as much, the price level will increase because you need to still be able to get the same amount of things. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does in my mind. And businesses relocate. So if the state decided to increase its minimum wage, small companies like mom and pop shops are going to have to eventually close their doors compared to big businesses, which will probably take, a hit in the lot, a hit for a while, um, when they're losing some revenue because they can't, you know, increase the prices dramatically, when, minimum wage increases because they now have to pay their employees more. Um, but if they don't feel like taking that loss, they might decide to relocate to another state which their either their state minimum wage isn't even close to what ours is or what the current state is, or they're just going to go to another state where they're going off of federal minimum wage, and federal minimum wage is not, I believe it's not even $8 yet. So either way, it's not good for that area. Or I'm talking about, Washington, Seattle. It's not good for this area. Now with minimum wage going up, that means people might lose their jobs because companies can't afford to pay that much. Or yeah, that's basically it. Companies won't be able to afford that much, and unemployment will increase because now more people have to look for work. But since minimum wage has increased, they now want more skilled workers. So you can't, jump right out of high school, decide not to go to college, and automatically find an awesome job. That just won't happen. And I am totally over.